my friends, our chief problem in Western civilization is that we are suffering from systemic leftism. Systemic leftism. Let that sink in. I said this didn't happen overnight. This has been a problem a long time in coming. I said we saw the seeds of leftism being sown in the early 1900s, probably even before we really research it. And I said they have, taken over our institutions. I said these people, the leftists, they're supposed to be intellectuals, but they're really not. They're just too weak and namby-pamby to do other kinds of work. So they sort of drift. They drift into the arts and drift into the media. I said, I am a very rare breed as somebody who is a staunch Christian conservative, who is so much into the arts. I'm just arts, media. I am such a rarity. I guess because most Christians and conservatives live more of a simple life. There's got to be a reason why there are so few Christians and conservatives in the media. But it's not just the media. The left has gone into, education. It's gone into our medical. It's definitely gone into our politics. It's a serious problem. And it's hard, like I said, it's hard to get rid of the systemic leftism. People, the good people who just want to live a peaceful life, have not been aware of just how devious and how sneaky and bad these people are, and what they've been doing to our country. They have been eating away at it, little by little by little, and everyone's just assuming, oh, they're good, nice, normal Americans. They love our country in their own way. But they really don't. They want to be in control, and they want to be the supreme commanders. I said, let's look at the different classes of leftists and the motivations, because, see, in every mystery, there's always a motivation for the crime. So what is the motivation for the left's crime? Okay, we have on the very bottom rung the welfare leftists. These people want a free ride. They want, the world owes them a living. They want everyone to give them everything. And they don't seem to mind just staying at the bottom. And of course, they would like to get up higher if they could win some lotteries. But, however, I guess they probably don't have enough work ethic to move up. So they just stay down with their basic free ride. So these are the people. They do not really have ambitions of ruling, because they are the lower classes, the bottom rung. Their ambition is not to rule. Now, the middle-class leftists, well, we have some of them who just want to live a normal life, I guess the non-radicals, but there are some middle-class leftists who want to climb the corporate ladder and hope to become a top echelon leftist and be a ruler someday. Like even Tim Pool said that these liberals, they all act like they're going to be the supreme commander of the country whenever it falls apart and becomes communist. I mean, they'll all fight for it, of course. I mean, we've seen this before in history. Nation after nation, there's always a power struggle. Everyone, one person rises to the top, and then other people have a coup against them, knock them out, and there's a coup against them. It's hard living at the top. So I said the motive behind the leftists, of course, is money and power. I said the very poorest of them do not necessarily have the power motive. And the middle class, some, 50-50. But the top ones, they definitely have the power motive. And they'll stop at nothing. What we see is a complete breakdown in our legal system. They are trying, the left, they want to hide behind American laws to protect them. But then they want to trample over the rights of conservatives and Christians and say that the law doesn't protect us. But see, and then they'll say, you're a Christian, you're going to turn the other cheek, you don't get the law on your side. We get to run right over you. Being a Christian, it's, like I said, You have to fight for freedom. You have to fight for your rights. It's delicate. I mean, yes, it is delicate. Because, we're not supposed to hate and all these different things. But we still, Christians do end up fighting in wars sometimes. We do. We end up fighting, and we have to preserve freedom. I mean, I guess that one of the things you have to sort of know how to handle things and know what's your battle. For instance, there was a young man at one of my churches who did a devotional, was talking about how, we shouldn't mind wearing the masks too much because it's not anything immoral. And I'll say, well, I mean, we definitely should push back. There should be pushback, but I see his point. So we've got to weigh things carefully. And I said, and when dealing with the leftists, we try not to sink to their level. I mean, I'm guilty of it sometimes. Earlier, when I first started this channel, I used to try to give them back what they gave me. I mean, I'm perfectly capable of doing it, but it's not what a good Christian should do. So the best thing to do is take the high road. I said, I know I am quite capable of insulting them, but it's probably best to hold back at times. And here's the worst thing about the law breakdown. We're seeing this around Western civilization. The left is trying to say that because a person's skin color, they cannot be held responsible for any crime they commit. Now let that sink in. So basically, if your skin color is one color and you want to harm someone, like I said, there's cases about this, the children being harmed, and then, of course, the left, they go and say, well, the perpetrator, their skin color is not the same as the victim, so if you try to persecute the person who killed that child, you're a racist. I mean, that is the epitome of civilization rotten to the core and needs to totally reboot. We can't have that. We have to have, the law has to apply equally, regardless of whatever various factors involved in the person's life. The law has to apply equally. I mean, murder is murder, no matter what. Rape is rape, and robbery is robbery, and the law has to be applied evenly. Because within a country, if we all cannot agree to apply the law equally, then we do not have a single country. We have split up, like I said, ethno-states, like Dr. Turley's been telling us about, ethno-nationalism. So essentially, all these Western countries are breaking up into like little enclaves of ethno-nationalists. And that's not going to be good, because what's going to happen is like these groups are going to break up, and they're going to start fighting amongst each other. And then whenever one group is not as violent, they become more successful, they'll complain. It's going to be a mess. I mean, basically everyone will probably look like, the world. All the countries split up. Some will be able to get along and be prosperous, and some will just fight all the time and be poor. And then it's a mess. I said, Western civilization was on its way to getting along with all the races as best as we could. We were in a fairly good place, but I think we've been knocked back quite a bit. And who knows, and that's really a disadvantage for people who were prospering and rising. So there's always going to be bad people in the world, and it's got to be up to the rest of us to stand up to them and keep our countries free and keep our legal systems intact. So there's definitely a big challenge for Western civilization going forward. We probably do need some major reboots in sections of our civilization. I can think of quite a few, and I avoid politics. I used to avoid politics, but I can think of quite a few changes that we need to make, so I'll work on my ideas. And we all need to do our part. Like, what are you doing to help civilization? I've started this YouTube channel because to help protest against injustices against Tommy Robinson. But I'm also protesting against other things. And just be involved. Start businesses, get into the culture. We need to start our own sports leagues. Because like I said, the left has crumbled. They're done for. We need to start our own sports leagues. Everything the left has destroyed, we have to start our own. And then the left will just eventually collapse and close up. And then our new groups will come up. These are all things we need to do. We need to stop letting the left determine our lives. And we need to stop thinking in the box. We need to think outside of the box. Be a pioneer, be a fighter. And like I said, we need to try to work with our whatever legal structure we have. Like I said, I think I'm going to write my own ism, my own plan. I said I was looking up different versions of government. I was reading about a meritocracy, and it sounded like an awful lot of socialism in some of that meritocracy they were talking about. But there's all kind of different plans, so we'll have to see how the cultural shift goes. But like I said, Western civilization needs something. It needs people getting involved. That, at the very least, it needs that. And then we need to impeach those politicians. Kick them all out of office. If any of those politicians, we impeach them, recall them, vote them out, whatever has to be done. If they're not up for re-election, impeach them. We need to do whatever it has to be done to kick the bad guys out of office. I'm sure a whole crop of new guys couldn't do any worse than the ones we got in there right now. So we need to all be putting our thinking caps on and our pioneer spirits, getting our pioneer spirits up and thinking, rolling up our sleeves. What can we do? How can we change the civilization for the better? How can we, get in there and make our countries great again? We can do it. So take courage and trust the Lord. Pray. Just pray and work hard and have courage. And we're going to get through it. We will. In a lot of our countries, especially America, it's been a long time since we've had actual, real conflicts on our soil, wars, and we're not used to it, so we're a little bit scared and ruffled, but we can weather the storm. Trust in the Lord and do good. Okay? Let freedom ring.